Welcome to Totem Sports Late Night. You got Coach Taylor, and of course, you got the man from Seoul, one of our co-hosts. Welcome, welcome to Totem Sports.
Yes.
We want to thank you. We want to thank you for coming on. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Hey man, first of all, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Walmart for allowing me to show up there and meet this dude over here this morning at 5:53. I'll never forget that time on the 27th of March. Him linking up with him and just allowing me to be a guest to his party, because this is as they say in Korea, this is a Thursday party, and that's the name of a bar in every major city in South Korea. It's called Thursday Party. It's where the Koreans go to mingle with the English speaking folks. But this is Thursday Party for me.
Coach Lambo, the man from Seoul.
Yes.
What continent?
So no, hold on. Let me tell it. It's like it's you got to let it roll off your tongue. It's Seoul. The man from Seoul.
Coach Lambo.
So
what continent is Korea located on?
Say that again.
What?
Say the question again. I can't hear you.
What continent is Korea located on?
Is it in Europe?
Hey, that's close. That's close enough. Asia, but this morning we saw your long lost nemesis. Oh yes, Angry who? The man from Seoul.
Angry Redskin fan.
At 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning, Angry Redskin fan was there, and his teeth now cost $1,500. They went up from $500 to $1,500, and he looks the best that I've ever seen him.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about that, Lambo?
Well, I mean, I hope he can pay for his teeth.
I think he's on a payment plan. I mean, he's got better looking teeth than Nick Saban. MK, how's everyone's day today? Okay. I only got put in jail once. All right. So that's not a bad day for me. Lambo, did you get fired yet?
No, I'm never gonna get fired.
Would you like to tell the man from Seoul about when you got fired from Chick-fil-A?
because I was acting in a TV role called Swagger season 2. They are not renewing season 3, so I was in an acting role and I played a prison inmate.
He played a prison inmate. You were typecast. I told you that they were gonna put you in a role as a drug dealer. Tell the man from Seoul, what was your uniform? What did they make you wear?
Well, it was actual jail shoes. It was long white socks, and it was basically a jumpsuit that says Maryland Youth Facility, and it was brown.
What did the director direct you to do? What was your part in the Swagger series?
I had so they were playing a basketball game 5-on-5. I had to shake the fence and scream.
That's acting. That's what you get here at Totem Pole Nation. The man from Seoul. Yes, MK, that's exactly right. I love it. And Korea is in Europe. Okay. I'm glad we had our geography lesson today. Let's see. MK, you're gonna have to give us the geography lesson of the day since you do the quote of the day every morning. All right, I'm going to pull up this screen. We're going through all of the news today. Paul, what did you do to prepare yourself for this edition, your first edition of Totem Pole Sports? Have you been studying? Have you been looking over your notes?
Well, I mean, it's a rite of passage for me. This is my whole life is reality TV, meaning the NFL, the NBA, NCAA football, basketball, the NHL, golf, soccer, cricket, whatever, what have you. That's my reality TV show. So I'm always I'm like Rudiger said. I've been prepared for this my whole life.
Amen. Now, we usually don't get into geography, but I have one more question for Coach Lambo. Coach Lambo, what continent is Egypt located on?
Hold on, I'm drinking water. Hold on, I'm drinking water.
Don't be Googling it, dude.
Okay.
What continent is
I'm not Googling. My head's up here. I'm not Googling it. So what continent is Egypt? Egypt is in Africa.
Amazing. What was the score of the Super Bowl in 1997 and who won?
Was it Denver Broncos 31-24 against the Green Bay Packers?
That's what I'm talking. That was the one when I woke up and I said, "Hey, when's the game going to be played?" And they were like, "Dude, the game's been over with for 2 hours." Okay, that's the reason I don't drink. Lambo, it's not that hard. MK, I know, but Lambo, they didn't teach him anything at school. Lambo, would you like to talk a little bit about the current state of the education system from what you've observed?
The education system is broken. I was taught the Great Wall of China in the 3rd grade and was never taught about that ever again. I don't remember much from high school. I remember doing one worksheet as a homework page. I did it in class and I moved on from there. The Texas education system is a lot different than it is in Virginia, but I didn't learn anything as far as what you teach in your class. I didn't learn anything. So all I learned was a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Chinese, ni hao mong, wong hong hao, xing ching shu. I learned a little bit of that, but I mean, I didn't learn much in high school. I graduated early with a GED and then went to work a real job and then look here, man, right now.
Yes. Coach Lambo, how do you spell GED?
GED?
Good job. Hey, you're on a roll tonight. All right. The NCAA president, Charlie Baker, urges states with legal wagering to ban prop bets on college athletes. Coach Lambo, I don't gamble. All right. So I don't even know what a prop bet is. Could you discuss this a little bit? And then I'm going to pass it over to Paul. What do you think about this ruling?
Before I pass it to Paul, basically prop bets is a short for proposition bets. That means if you bet on a certain game, it allows gamblers to wager statistics of a player that will accumulate during the game rather than a final score. It's basically like prize picks, underdogs. You can pick anybody. You can now bet college players now. You used to never do that. You only bet a professional. So basically you could have a player that can have 4.5 first quarter points or 16 first half points. So they're trying to ban that stuff. I don't see what the issue around it is, but the reason behind it is because one of the NBA players has already been suspended for gambling. I think it was one of the Toronto Raptors for Jonte Porter. He'll miss his 3rd consecutive game for personal reasons, but there's been multiple people in the NFL and the NBA that have already been suspended for gambling.
Wow. Paul, are you a fan of this rule? What do you think about gambling in sports? What do you think about this rule?
I'm totally okay with gambling. I'm After hearing all of the drama and all of the wherewithal when it comes to college sports, I'm against college prop bet gambling, and here's why. No, number one, the, the they're they're not professional athletes. I understand they get stipends, they get NIL money, but you're opening up college players to fudging lines. Again, you ask the question, well, what's a proposition bet? Proposition bet is okay, Paul, I play for pick a university, and
UVA.
and they put me as a prop bet of scoring 9 points tonight, and the over under is 9 points on Paul to score. So Paul scores 13 points, so I go over, but the people that had the under are mad at me. So I'm just a young kid in college, and I'm getting all these like text messages like, "Dude, what the heck? It's too much. Leave the college kids alone. It's for the professionals. The college folks, the college kids do not need proposition bets on how many points they're going to score, how many rebounds, how many yards gained, how many receptions. No, because what you're going to do is you're going to open up these college kids to getting pressure from not only uh, opposition and betters, but folks on their campus that actually bet and say, they're in tune to their team, and they're going to be like, wait, and they're going to get these. It's going to turn into a little bit of a harassment issue, and that's why I don't like it. Take prop bets out. You can bet the score of the game, but leave the prop bets for the professionals.
I totally agree. MK has her quote of the night. Never say never, because limits, like fear, are often just illusions. Now look over here, Coach Lambo. I know you're not a big baseball fan until it gets to October, but Paul played college baseball. Opening day 2024, what to watch for on the first full day of the Major League season. Otani, Paul, what do you feel about opening day and Otani and his friend interpreter that got busted for gambling?
I feel it's an unfortunate situation. However, and I know MLB is fully investigating the issue. We don't know the full story, and until we get it or we get facts, we can't speculate on, like, was Otani sending bets in? Everyone has this dream sheet of things that they're accusing people of before they have the facts. Bottom line is, okay, it's opening day. It's a big day in America, American sports. It's a big day of baseball. It's a big day for the Dodgers because they acquired Otani, and he's the face of the Major League Baseball as we know it today. Again, he won't pitch this year, and but he will swing the bat, and he is a once in a lifetime player. Got it.
Hmm.
However, there's some storylines that are going to be carried on throughout the season. We've got the Oakland A's possible move to Las Vegas. We've got the Baltimore Orioles young team that's on the rise, that's making a move. And personally, I think it's going to be them. If you ask me today, who's going to the World Series? Give me the Phillies, Philadelphia, Bryce Harper and the crew, their pitching staff against the young Baltimore Orioles, up and rising young stars that they've got. I think it's their time. But I pause for questions.
Well, I go with Bryce Harper because he's my favorite player because he hates umpires.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that hates officials, I like you. Lambo, what do you got to say about opening day in the MLB? Do you even care? Do you watch it? How are you feeling about baseball right now?
Well, baseball is a great time to be alive, especially with daylight savings. It does no longer gets dark at 5 p.m. You normally have the sun out until about 8 p.m. now or 7 o'clock. So it feels like summertime. Not only what Paul said, but also several other stars are going to debut with new teams. You have Juan Soto, who is 25. I know he dealt with the Padres to the Yankees over the winter, and will be in the lineup with Aaron Judge as New York Yankees will face the Houston Astros. Late in the game, the Astros might counter with Soto was Josh Hader, a five-time All-Star who signed with Houston in January. So that is a thing that you want to watch out for as well. But I think this baseball will be great, exciting, and I understand that it's 166 games in the MLB season that nobody will watch. But baseball can be entertaining when there's high scoring.
Is it 166 now, Paul, or is it 162?
It's 162.
Okay, good. Draymond Green. The speculation is that he choked out Steve Kerr. He squeezed Steve Kerr's neck until his eyeballs about popped out. Now, Draymond, who is totally innocent, one of my favorite players, all right, he is a victim. All right, he is a great sport, just like me. He's a picture of sportsmanship. Draymond is ejected in less than 4 minutes into the game against the Magic. Paul, are you surprised about this? What is going on with Draymond? Does he need to get back on his Thorazine injections?
I'm again, and I would have to I would have to be on the opposite side of yourself on this one. I'm not a big Draymond Green fan. I think he is the product of circumstance, meaning he fell into to a great situation. However, I think he abused the situation. And again, I mean, I don't want to play connect the dots here, but we have a team who Draymond Green is in the last year of his contract, and they go ahead and extend him for I think 25 mil a year for 4 years, like 100 mil for 4 years. Okay, got it. But then the GM just says, "All right, I'm going to go work for ESPN." Like, let's play connected dots here. Like the GM left after he signed the contract. Look. This is sports is my soap opera. Here's where I am with this. Uh, Bob Myers left because he didn't agree with. He's like let Draymond walk. He's getting older. We need to retool this team. And they said no. He's the part of the nucleus. They kept him, and here we are. And then now, but once he signs that contract, he owns you. He does what he does. He got suspended this year. He cost his team games. Um, I mean, this choking out of Steve Kerr, getting kicked out the game. I mean, we we meaning the generation of the 80s and 90s were all over Rodman for doing what he did, but this is 10 times worse to me because he knows he has a guaranteed contract and he got it. He's just running roughshod, and I'm on the other side.
Lambo, was Draymond Green actually trying to massage the neck of his coach? All right. Steve Kerr had a crick in his neck, and he was actually massaging his neck. Is that true?
Okay, well, first of all, I think you were wrong with the choking part. That was a fake Woj account because it says Woj D. So that's a fake account. That wasn't the actual account of Woj Twitter account. So that was fake. So that was probably just random false rumors. If it was real, it would have been blown up by NBC and everything else. That's a fake Woj account. You might want to look at that. When it comes to Draymond Green, I'm not surprised he thought about retiring once. If peep at the Draymond Green podcast, I don't peep at it, but he thought of the urgency of retiring when he talked to Adam Silver. I understand he got that 16-game suspension and getting ejected. There was one season where he already had a technical foul for getting kicked out of 16, 17 games. I think normally when you get kicked out of 16, 17 games, you get a 1-2 game suspension plus a fine. That happened a couple years ago. Despite all that, the Warriors still won. They still beat the Magic 101 to 93. Obviously, now the Warriors did struggle on the road this year. They're 20-15 right now, but they were terrible at the beginning of the season. They're now trying to fight for a playoff spot. They'll most likely be in a play-in along with the Lakers and stuff. But Draymond getting ejected just not really surprising. But we'll see how the Warriors do in the playoffs. I know a lot of people are going to count them out because what their record is, they're not as good. By the way, Steve Kerr did sign a 2-year extension in the middle of the season, so we'll see how long he coaches for. But don't count out the Warriors. I understand most people don't like the Warriors, but don't count them out because every time you count them out, they somehow go to the finals and win it. So I like my chance with the Warriors in the playoffs, but the Draymond getting ejected is not surprising to me.
Paul, who's the worst commissioner? Roger Goodell or Adam Silver?
Worse. Wow. Mm. All right. Oh, I'll go with this. Listen, check this
one
out.
looks like he's a villain from the James Bond movie. I mean, it's kind of sad.
I will say that all I will say is this, and I'll focus strictly on Christmas Day because the news broke today that the NFL is going to play games on Wednesday, Christmas Day, the first time they play games on Wednesday. That is monumental because it affects Adam Silver in the NBA because the NFL last year, and again, I was a fan. I'm just as a fan, I enjoyed watching football on Christmas, and to know that I'm going to watch football on NFL football on Christmas this year, I'm excited. Again, I think they caught the NBA sleeping at the wheel. Again, no, a lot of it's no fault of the NBA because the NBA is just in regular season, just at the beginning of regular season. Again, when we were growing up, Mr. Taylor, Christmas Day was a day to watch the NBA games and see the new shoes coming out.
Yes.
But now the NFL and its huge conglomerate is just taking over Christmas. And we love it. More football for us, we love it. But again, this whole the shoes coming out in the NBA, it doesn't override the NFL. So the NFL's king again. And again, they tried it, experimented. They're like, oh, the next year it's on Wednesday, we're gonna do it. And that to me just told me that we own Christmas. The NFL owns Christmas. So I'm not going to call either one of them the worst. They're both doing a great job for what they have. It's just the timing of that particular event that I'm talking about. This is a win-win for the NFL.
Coach Lambeau, who is the worst commissioner? Adam Silver or Roger Goodell?
I'm going to have to agree with Paul on this. I don't have an answer for that. But he's right in what he says. I don't have to really reiterate. Yeah. Well, that's your opinion, but I'll reiterate what Paul has to say. I mean, as a fan, I like to have football and basketball for Christmas, but at the same time, as a fan, it's like, who are you going to watch? Are you going to focus on basketball or are you going to focus on football? Because you got some of these games coming on at the same time where you're going to have a 1 o'clock kickoff, and then you have NBA games that go from 12 o'clock to 2:30 to 5 to 8 to 10:30, and then if you have 3 Christmas games, you're going to have one from 1 o'clock or 4:30, and then possibly 2 primetime games. You may have one on NBC and then one on NFL. I have to agree with Paul. I mean, I don't have much of an answer of who I hate the most.
Well, I say they're both awful. I definitely don't like Roger Goodell. And Adam Silver, I mean, I think he's just a wuss. Will Smith, Dodgers reach $140 million. I remember when Jose Canseco went 5 years for $25 million, and that was crazy. Will Smith Now, this is not Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. 10-year deal. LA has now spent $1.4 billion on 5 key players. Paul, you're the resident baseball expert. How do you feel about this deal?
Well, again, how I feel about this deal is one, he's a catcher, so he's 29 years old. So he'll probably catch for I'd say 5 or 6 more years, and then he'll move into a DH, or they'll put him in a corner outfield role, or wherever he can fit on the team. But he won't catch the entire 10 years. That's he's saying he's going to catch until he's 39. I don't believe so. He got paid that money because of his bat, not where he plays in the field, and he's their catcher now. But after, when it comes to a point where he can't catch anymore, they'll figure it out, because he'll be able to swing the bat until he's 39, but he won't be able to play catcher until he's 39. So it's a great deal for the Dodgers if he continues to hit the way he is, because they can put him somewhere else, and in their farm system they've got 2 or 3 primetime catchers that are coming up through the farm system.
Lambo.
Well, I agree. I agree with Paul. Like I said, last year he was an all-star. He hit a 2.61 with 19 homers, 76 RBIs. I mean, this guy has something he could bring to the table. He would have been eligible for free agency in 2025 if he didn't sign that deal. But hey, this is the MLB. The MLB is fully guaranteed contracts. We already seen Bryce Harper, like I said, 12 years, $300 million a couple years back. The Dodgers are going to be a team to watch out for. I think they're going to possibly win the World Series this year. If I have my money on it, I'm going to go with the Dodgers, even though I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. But hey, MLB, they got people they can spend money on. So it is what it is. Pay him. Like he says, he's not going to be a catcher forever, but, we'll see how this goes with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Goat, hello, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. We love you. Here are some numbers that will help you get your March Madness fix for the Sweet 16. 16 may be sweet, but it isn't the only relevant number as the NCAA tournament heads into regional semifinals. In the East region, UConn, San Diego State. Who do you have in that game, Paul?
That's a rematch of last year's finals. UConn is the big engine, the big train that's running down. I don't think that the San Diego State has the firepower to deal with. I mean, they're on a roll, and Danny Hurley, I think it's genius how he's taken on this villain role of, everyone's, I'm mad at the world, so his team's mad at the world, and it gets a past champion, last year's champion, an edge to go into this tournament, and you can see by the scores of their first 2 games that they're locked in. So I like UConn in this one.
Well, give me UConn. I mean,
Coach
UConn.
Lambo.
UConn has a chance to win back-to-back national titles. Obviously, the last time they were relevant was 2014 when they had Kemba Walker, and then they went through multiple head coaches of Kevin Ollie and all this other stuff, and then they failed. And then Dan Hurley knows how to turn around programs. Give me UConn. I already did a recruiting video on UConn. UConn has plenty of size. They got great guards. They play great, terrific defense. UConn is going to be the team to watch out for the next 3 to 4 years.
Illinois and Iowa State. Are they playing each other, Paul? Am I reading this correctly?
You are reading that correctly, and this is going to be a fascinating game. Contrast of styles. You got Illinois, who likes to get up and down the court, and then you got the Iowa State Cyclones that like to hunker down, play defense, and lock you up and keep the game somewhat in the mid 60s. So it's styles make fights. Again, I hate to use cliches, because I'm just really not that kind of guy, but this is one of those things where whoever style is able to be, forced upon the other in the first 8 minutes, I think that's the team to take. So I'm 50-50 split here. But if you're holding me to it, give me the Fighting Illini because they can score.
Give me Illinois. I like Terrence Shannon Jr. Obviously, he's great. We see him score. Illinois is big and they physical. They play one of the toughest conferences of college basketball. I understand that Iowa State won their conference championship. They blew out Houston, but give me Illinois for the upset in the Sweet 16.
Alabama and North Carolina. Paul, who you got in that one?
UNC all the way. Alabama is going to reach they've reached their point where this is, again, it's a great season for Alabama. No one expected them to be here. I just have a problem with their defensive efficiency and going up against a Carolina team with, the experience of Damon Baycoat and, they got guard play. The one thing about Carolina, they have guard play, but they have Damon Baycoat who cleans up the boards and puts back, and he can post you up and go down low. I think they're just it'll be a dogfight early, but they're too much for Carolina's too much for Alabama.
Give me UNC too. Not just RJ Davis, Armando Baycott from Richmond, but Ryan Cormack. He can shoot threes. Ryan Cormack, you get him in that corner, you spot him up. He can shoot that three. UNC plays tremendous defense. Look what Hubert Davis has done since the Roy Williams retirement. UNC, they've been in the Final Four. They've been in it already. They just had not won it yet, but they've been in the Final Four. But I think this is a chance that UNC can make some noise. So give me UNC. I understand Alabama plays in the SEC, but I mean they barely got by with Charleston.
Wow. All right. I'm gonna start with Coach Lambeau this time. Arizona and Clemson.
Okay. Give me Arizona. Now they got the transfer from UNC, Caleb Love. Arizona is big. They're physical. They can score. Arizona is a better defensive team than Clemson is. Clemson just barely got by. I understand that Clemson also has a very legit defense. I mean, they did when you watched them against New Mexico, they did allow them to a low of 30% shooting. But Clemson's going to face a tough Arizona team, right? So give me Arizona to win this one. I just don't see how Clemson beats Arizona unless they get turnovers off this Arizona team. But this Arizona team doesn't turn the ball too much on offense.
What you think, Paul?
I totally concur with everything he just said. In addition to that, I will say this. The only way Arizona loses this game is they don't show up. Arizona has a problem with not showing up for certain games, and that's the only thing that scares me off of Arizona. But talent-wise, athletically, the matchup is just it's too much athletically for Clemson, but the Wildcats are going to have to show up at 100%, and it's their game.
Creighton in Tennessee. Baylor is the first Division I men's player in history to have at least 2,000 career points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists, and 303-point baskets. How good is this kid, Coach Lambeau? Or let's start with Paul on this one. Baylor Shireman. What do you think? You want to go
Shireman.
first, Lambeau? Yeah. Baylor Shireman.
Oh,
this game. All right, I'll take it here. Yeah, this game is very similar to the Illinois Iowa State game. I mean, these are two evenly matched teams, and it's just who is going to impose their will on the other.
Ooh, I like that.
That is that. I mean, because it's two different styles. I mean, again, the Creighton, they like to get up and down. They like to shoot threes. Their bigs like to shoot threes. I mean, Tennessee, Dalton Connect. I mean, he's a pro. However, but Rick Barnes has them. He plays defense. You're going to play defense first, and then we're going to score. So it's going to be a rugged defense against the high flying Blue Jays. Um, mm, I, you know what? This one's going to go down to the wire, and I'm not making a pick because it could go either
Wow.
way. I'm not making a pick because this is a 50-50 split. This flip a coin game.
Well, this game just gave me Creighton. The thing about Tennessee is I understand they were number one seed in the SEC tournament, and I know it was a couple weeks ago, but Tennessee did lose when they were the top seed in the SEC. I understand Rick Barnes, and they had competition with Kentucky, Auburn. You know, the SEC has got definitely better at basketball. But if I'm going to be honest, people are sleeping on Creighton. Nobody really thought that Creighton was going to make it this far, to be honest, despite the roster, despite this guy playing 3 seasons at South Dakota State, which nobody really watched him. But I did. Give me Creighton to beat Tennessee.
Wow. Gonzaga and Purdue, Coach Lambeau. Who you got?
Okay. I understand that Zach Edey is tall. I understand that Purdue has had some disappointments, but give me Gonzaga, right? Mark Few, right? Mark Few, right, is one of the best coaches in college basketball. I put him in the top 5. When it comes to Gonzaga, they play together. They have the experience. They have veteran guys. They play defense. They move the ball very well. I understand what Purdue has. Zach Edey is the first player since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to have at least 50 points and 35 rebounds. I watch him. Purdue plays in the toughest conference in college basketball, but we've seen Purdue kind of fall off just a little bit. We've seen Purdue, not meet up to standard from a couple seasons ago. Just give me Gonzaga. I think Purdue's time, they had their run. I think their time is up. I think Gonzaga will come up with a great game plan to, limit Zach Edey. I don't know if you can stop the man from scoring, but at least limit him. I guess the good strategy is to probably go a box and one. You don't want to do too much double teaming because then Purdue has some good shooters that can shoot the 3, but at least put them in a box and one and get them out the paint.
What do you think, Paul?
I'm scared to think right now because me and my boy, sunglasses are on the same page, and I will piggyback and I will actually add to this. This game is it for Purdue. I love Zach Edey. Zach Edey eats. He eats. Okay, but Zach Edey should be play. If they were playing Gonzaga the second game of the weekend, I would like Purdue more. But now that they've had a full week back at home in Seattle to figure out Edey, and then they're going to show up with a game plan to attack Edey, give me Mark Few all day long. The Zags roll here. Few has too much time to prepare for Edey. That's my sticking point with this game.
Paul, Duke and Houston. Tell me a little bit about that game. Who do you have?
Oh, why do I gotta go first? Oh my God. Okay, so all right. I love Filipowski. He's one of my favorite postmen in college basketball. Um, but Houston is the call here. As much as I don't want to go against the Blue Devils, Houston is on a mission. Again, they haven't done it before, so they know, okay, this is another. They've got the personnel to shut Duke stuff down. I'll take Houston because I'm going to take a side here. But I will say this. This game, it will be predicated on the least favorite people of Jimbo Fisher, the referees. Because Houston likes to play, they like to body you up. And if Duke gets the calls like they got in the JMU game where it's touch fouls, Houston's going to have a problem. Houston, we have a problem because there's going to be a lot of people that has fouls. But give me Houston, and I hope the referees just call it. Don't call it touch foul. Just call it even, and
Coach
let Houston play
Lambeau.
defense.
Coach Lambeau, where was that quoted? And what part of history? Houston, we have a problem.
I can't exactly remember. He said we have a problem, but I can't really remember that. But I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick
NASA.
Houston.
NASA. What is the
Yeah,
Apollo? What? Apollo 8?
Apollo
Which
Creed.
Apollo mission was it?
I don't know. 8 Creed. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a NASA guy. I'm a sports guy. Give me Houston. Now, what Kevin Sampson has done with Houston, I mean, as he's taken over that program since 2014, he's been there for over 10 plus seasons. Since 2017, Houston has won either 27 or more games, right? This year they're 32-4. If they win this game against Duke, they'll be top. Kevin Sampson will be top for the most wins that he's had in that program from since 2018-2019 season. Now, nobody knew that Houston moved from the AAC, which is the American Athletic Conference, to the Big 12. They dominated the Big 12 conference, almost won the conference. So go ahead and give me Houston. Houston is tough, physical. They can play defense. And I understand that Duke is Duke with a reputation, but if NC State pulled out the game plan, the ACC championship game, like they did, or not UNC, somebody else pulled a game plan against Duke. I think it was UNC or somebody else in the ACC tournament. If you foul out Filipkowski, then that's it. You have to create situations where you foul him, right? That you try to get him foul the game. If you try to guard him one-on-one, it's not going to work. You're going to have to create some double. You're going to have to create some double teams. I understand that Jerry McCain is great, but you also have to be able to contain him in that three-point shot. If you leave him open, you're done. You're cooked. But I really don't like this new coach. I mean, I understand he's taking over for Coach K, but the expectations are high, are very, very high when it comes to Duke. Give me a Houston team that's been to the Final Four before. They ain't been to the Final Four, I think, since before the COVID year where it wasn't the postseason. Give me Houston. Give me that experience.
What do you think, Paul? Are you with Lambeau on this one?
Absolutely 100%.
Marquette and NC State. Shaka Smart. Oh, Lambeau, which one of y'all want to jump on this one first?
I jump on this one first. So North Carolina State. I told you that I predict the future, and you saw it in the group chat. I said that NC State was going to beat UNC in the ACC championship game. I had tickets. I've been there. I watched it since day one. I didn't stay there. I sold the championship game for $200. But here's my point. I saw NC State's progression for the last 5 games. I saw progression. Their progression at the end of the day was they played 5 games in a row in the ACC tournament, and they won. That's how physical they are. DJ Burns, their point guards, O'Connell, those guys play together. They play as a team. I understand that Marquette has Shaka Smart, but Shaka Smart is probably on the verge of maybe going to another team. Now, this Marquette team almost let Colorado come back and beat them, right? So give me NC State. Give me Mohamed Diarra, who is physical. He scraps on the ground. He's aggressive. He gets the boards. Give me NC State to upset Marquette. And just like I said, I've already told Matt Pat in the past, just because you have all these All-Americans does not mean anything. The NCAA tournament is you can upset anybody. Anybody will get upset. Give me NC State to beat Marquette. Give me that. That's the upset of the weekend.
Paul, what do you think?
Well, as Earl Boy, College game day would say, not so fast, my friend. Doc Smart and the crew, their point guard is back. They're firing on all cylinders. I think this is where Cinderella's slipper falls off. This is a real basketball team. Marquette is a real basketball team when their point guard is available, and he is available right now. And they've got the horses to do it. This is where, I mean, and again, hats off to NC State. This is they have overachieved this season. Their coach will be back. He's got an extension, but Shaka, he moves on to the Elite Eight.
Jadeveon Clowney, another player from Rock Hill, South Carolina. I don't even know how old this guy is. But
No,
he just
well, I don't
continues
get,
to
I don't even get that signing. That the signing is, I don't know. What are they?
He goes
What
back
is?
home. I mean,
You
he's
go back
from
home,
Rock
but I mean, you're
Hill.
gonna go back home and go 2-17 or 2-15. Nah. Why? You could join a contender.
Well, I'll reiterate on this, Paul. I think I sort of agree with you. It's not a great signing. I understand the Carolina Panthers did lose Brian Burns to the Giants. You know, he got
Yes.
a big contract
Yep.
extension there. But with this contract, I mean, what 2 years worth $20 million up to $24 million. I mean, I understand it's his hometown, but he's 31 years old. How many injuries has Jadeveon Clowney had? I mean, he's had multiple injuries since being with the Houston Texans and Bill O'Brien. He's had multiple injuries since coming out to the NFL. And I'm not putting it on the man like it's his fault. Injuries happen in the game of football. But see, here's
Mm-hmm.
the problem. Here's the problem with the Carolina Panthers. I don't really like the head coach they hired. They hired the Tampa Bay offensive coordinator Dave Canales, who helped Baker Mayfield succeed. Obviously, Baker Mayfield got the big deal, but this is Bryce Young. Their offensive line is so awful. You need to rebuild from the offensive line first, and then get some weapons. Now, I understand you got Deontay Johnson in a trade from the Steelers, obviously, but I mean, he's kind of a diva. I mean, he doesn't block. He has an attitude. We'll see if that actually changes. But you have an older Adam Thielen who is not the same Adam Thielen he was with the Vikings. So you have an older receiver. You're going to need a
Right.
tight end. You're going to need some receivers. Definitely the offense. Your key focus for the Carolina Panthers is an offensive line to protect Bryce Young. Now I understand your record isn't as good as you want it to be. Your defense is okay, but signing Jadeveon Clowney, I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world. But at the end of the day, do you really need to sign Jadeveon Clowney when your problem was the offensive line? Like that
Correct.
was your
Yeah,
problem.
it's a great. It's a yeah. I totally concur. I mean, I'm not. I would never poo-poo on any player signing with anybody, but look, it's a great contract for the player. I don't know if it's a good contract for the team at this point because again, he's late in his career. Now he gets a. I mean, that's a nice contract for a guy who's 31 and and on the back nine. That's a great. That's a great. You said double digit per year contract. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze about. I mean, it's a good contract for the player.
It's David Tepper. I don't like David Tepper.
Lambo.
Yes. Yes.
What? What do you not like about David Temper?
David Tepper, I mean, he just doesn't know how to organize a football team for crying out loud. I mean, did you see what happened last year when the game between the Falcons and the Panthers was $9? That's how bad they were. The tickets was $9 on SeatGeek. Look it up. $9. He doesn't know. He doesn't. I don't. The reason why I don't like David Tepper is just because the whole situation with the Cam Newton thing and the Ron Rivera thing. You're not giving these coaches enough time to rebuild. Why are you firing Frank Wright after one and done? What do you expect the man to do? I mean, you can't. It's hard to build a team in 1 year. This is not a situation where John Gruden was traded from the Raiders to the Bucks and won the Super Bowl in year one. This is a harder league to win in. The Panthers were already messed up before Frank Wright got there. I know in the state they went 0-9, but I don't like David Tepper. Let's see how long he keeps Dave Canales as the head coach. I mean, are you gonna fire him after one and done, or are you gonna give him 2 years? I mean, I'm just talking about the longevity of these coaches because you're expecting you, and I understand that contracts are not guaranteed, but you're expecting them to build a program or build a team, and you fire him after one season. I don't think Frank Wright got a fair shot at being the Carolina Panthers head coach. Only 1 year, or you fire him in the middle of the season. I just I don't know what Dave Temper. He might do that to Dave Canales. We'll see how that goes.
Man, Lambo, what do you think about the addition of Paul Medley, the man from Seoul?
Well, the man,
Total Ball Sports.
Well, the man from Seoul, I think this is a great addition to Totem Pole Sports because we need guys like him to keep it real when it comes to sports because we don't like ESPN, we don't like Barstool, we don't like a bunch of media and a bunch of liars because half the people don't know anything, especially Darren Watsky, who sat up there and said that the Cowboys need to get rid of Dak Prescott. But you don't have a quarterback that's better than Dak Prescott. But yes, the man from Seoul, I think it's a great addition to Totem Pole Sports. Weeknights every day from Monday to Friday. Do you have anything you want to say, Paul?
I do.
Yes, go ahead.
And I'm gonna have to say it. You gotta get rid of Dak Prescott. You gotta get rid of.
Oh, so you think they gotta get rid of Dak Prescott?
You gotta get rid of CeeDee Lamb. You gotta get rid of 11 on defense. You have to listen to me. Listen, and remember I said this. You have to be bad before you can be good. That team has reached its ceiling. It's time to turn over the roster and be as bad as you can be. Because you want to be picking between 1 and 10. You want to be picking between hold on. You want to be picking between 1 and 10 in the draft. You want to be picking between 20 and 32, but you don't want to be picking 10 to 20 because you're mediocre, and that's where you'll stay. You have to be bad before you can be good. It's time to do a Herschel Walker with number 11 on defense and CeeDee Lamb. Sell them off. Draft picks. Lots of draft picks. Bring in young guys. This is the sacrificial year for the Cowboys to let Dak fail, put him on the bench, play Cooper Rush, lose as many games you can, try to get a top 5 pick. Cowboys, that's your way back to the top. You heard it here first.
No. Okay. I mean, so you want the Cowboys to take so they get Shador Sanders? That's what you're saying. Shador to Dallas is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, yes. No, I'm not okay. I'm not calling the player. And again, but again, you remember? Okay, can I give you an example of how this transpired? You remember this? Does anyone remember this? Does anyone remember Jimmy Johnson taking Steve Walsh and the next year taking Troy Aikman and then decided between the two, and then he sold Steve Walsh for draft picks and he kept Aikman and he got draft picks for Steve Walsh, who ended up being Chicago quarterback and used it to get picks. So it's okay to draft quarterbacks. Matter of fact, draft Penix Jr. in the second round and take Shador in the first round next year. Figure out who's the guy and move on. But Dak Prescott is not the guy that's going to take you anywhere. He's done.
Okay.
Lambo is the biggest Cowboys hater in America. He's even a bigger Cowboys hater than the guy on ESPN.
Again, I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I'm just telling you that's the way to fix the Cowboys. The Cowboys are done as they're currently constructed. They need to use their chess pieces to get draft picks and do what the Seahawks did and do what old Jimmy Johnson did back in the day and make it a young team and you draft all the quarterbacks you want. You decide on the team and then you build through the draft. You get rid of all these expensive dudes and sell them off for draft picks. And be terrible for 2 years. It's okay. You have to be bad in the NFL to be good.
Okay.
Bottom line.
The man from Seattle said it himself. It's Totem Pole Sports. The man from Seattle, Lambeau's World, and Coach Taylor, right? We will be back tomorrow at 10 p.m. Totem Pole Sports.
7 a.m.
Don't forget
7:30 a.m. Me and the Mr. Seattle will be back.
I'm changing my name. I'm changing because you can't get it right. I'm changing everything.
I'll get look.
Hey Lambo,
Yes.
Lambo, we have a question. MK
Yes.
has a question for you.
What's the question? There is no question.
In
What?
World War II, where did the United States drop 2 nuclear bombs?
I didn't learn that in class.
Hey, America the beautiful, baby.
I didn't learn that in class at all. I didn't learn nothing about the World War II.
America the beautiful. What was the score of Tom Brady's 5th Super Bowl? What year and what was the score?
Fifth Super Bowl was 2016 against Atlanta Falcons. Overtime win 34-28.
That's what he doesn't know that Japan got 2 nuclear bombs dropped on them by us. Listen, this one goes out. But he can tell you the score and who Tom Brady beat in overtime. Welcome to the family, Paul Medley. We'll be back on here at 7:30 a.m. I will not be at Walmart at 5:30 a.m. I'm going to press end.